Okay, takže, alright, so we go week 51, day 5, it's Friday. I'm gonna read another page from Macquarie dictionary, and the reason for doing that, if you stumble upon this video by some mistake, is to practice my English, and I upload it on the internet because it keeps me accountable. I don't know, nobody's watching it, but it gives me a sense of urge to do it. So I'll do it that way, because I know that if I didn't upload it every day, I probably wouldn't find motivation to do it, to read it out. But I think it helps me to read and improve in my English, improve in vocabulary, pronunciation, learn new words. It's basically a mind training, because language is a filter on reality. It's how we perceive most things through language, and expansion of vocabulary equals expansion of mind, or even expansion of perception. So this is it. This is why I'm doing it, and here we go. Assimilate. To take in and incorporate as one's own. Absorb. To assimilate a minority group. To assimilate information. To assimilate new ways of doing things. Physiology, to convert food, etc. into a substance suitable for absorption into the system. So he assimilated crickets because he was so hungry. Phonetics, to change a sound into another because of the influence of a neighboring sound, as in n changing to ng before k in concrete. To be or become absorbed, usually followed by into a with. Become like, blend into, to assimilate with the rest of the community. Latin, likened. Okay, so assimilate. Oh, okay, so simulate means that it's similar to something else, to become similar to something else. Assimilate. Wow, I love these etymologies. Okay, so he assimilated new trees into his garden. Assimilated new trees means absorbed. The garden assimilated the trees that grew on the site. Yeah, as the garden grew, it assimilated neighboring trees into itself. Assimilation, the act or process of assimilating. The state or condition of being assimilated. Physiology, the conversion of absorbed food into the substance of the body. Assimilate, the process whereby individuals or groups of differing ethnic heritage, as migrant groups or minority groups, acquire the basic attitudes, habits, and mode of life of another, all embracing national culture, distinguished from acculturation. Okay, assimilation and acculturation. So assimilation. The groups that arrived as migrants to Sydney were assimilated over several generations. Assist, to give support, help, or aid to in some undertaking or effort, or in time of distress. To be associated with as an assistant, verb assist. To give aid or help, French, from Latin, stand by. Okay, so assist kind of means stand by from French. Assistor, assistive, stand by. To give support, help, or aid in some undertaking or effort. I was assisted by my daughter in planting a garden. Assistant's dog, a dog trained to perform a number of functions for its disabled owner, such as opening and closing doors, turning light switches on and off, pressing pedestrian crossing buttons, retrieving objects, etc. A person was running with assistant dog. A blind person was competing in a race with assistant's dog. Assistant, someone who assists a superior in some office or work. Assistant, superior, assisting, helpful, associated with a superior in some office or work. Assistant manager. Assistant manager. Cool. Assisted migration. The migration of new settlers to a country which is made financially possible with assistance, usually from a government organization. In the case of Australia, most notably the British migrants post-World War II, whose £10 part payment of the fare to Australia was supplemented by Australian government. Oh. The deliberate relocation of an animal or plant species with the assistance of human intervention, usually when its normal habitat is no longer available as a result of climate change development, etc. Assisted migration. Okay. So they did assisted migration for an elephant because the elephant couldn't survive in the habitats in the jungle in India. Assisted reproduction. A human reproduction is achieved by using assisted reproductive technology. Associable, capable of being associated. French, associability. Associate, to connect by some relation, as in a thought. Associate. To join. Okay, so he associated two elements because of the similarity of the same category of the object. To join as a companion, partner, or ally. Ally. To join as a companion, partner, or ally. To unite, combine, associated with shale. To enter into a league or union, unite, associate. To keep company as a friend or intimate. To associate only with wealthy people. Now. A partner in interest, as in business or in enterprise or action. So he associated with the person who also liked to play golf. A confederate, an accomplice, an ally. A confederate, an accomplice, an ally. Having a subordinate membership without full rights and privileges. Association, associates. Having a subordinate membership without full rights and privileges. Cool. Associates. Cool, interesting. I like the word. It's a really clear definition. Now I remember. For example, people in Amazon, when they work, they are called associates. And associates are people who are subordinate and having less privileges than partners, I guess, or maybe full-time employees. Associates. It's a pretty good definition, actually. Okay, so association, an organization of people with a common purpose of having a formal structure. The act of associating, the state of being associated, companionship or intimacy. Companionship, association, connection or combination. Connection of ideas in thought, or an idea connected with or suggested by subject of thought. Okay. The connection of ideas in thought. Okay, so the association of tree and fruit. Assonance, resemblance of sounds. Substitute for rhyme in which the same vowel sounds, though with different consonants, are used in the terminal word or lines, as penitent and reticence. Partial agreement. French from Latin, sounding to. Okay, partial agreement. Assonance. Assonance, a resemblance of sounds. Assonance, so it could be a rhyme or assonance, because they sound similar. So the words ending at the end of the sentence sound similar. Sort, to distribute according to sort or kind. Classify. He has sorted many different items in the shop according to their color. To furnish with suitable assortment or variety of goods, makeup of articles are likely to suit a demand. Furnish with suitable assortment or variety of goods. He assorted the shop with all new equipment. To agree in sort or kind, be matched or suited. To agree in sort or kind, sort. Be matched or suited. Middle English for Middle French, distribute and join. Sort, distribute and join. Okay, it's an interesting word. So he assorted to his proposal. Assorted, consisting of selected kinds arranged in sorts of variety or varieties, consisting of various kinds, miscellaneous, matched, suited, assorted. So assorted chocolate means that there are various kinds and they're also suited. Various assorted chocolate, assorted clothes from second-hand shop. Right, assortments, the act of assorting, distribution, classification, or an assorted collection. So assorted chocolates would be all different kinds, but also similar. Assorted. Wow, what a cool word. That's fantastic. Assuage. Assuage, to make milder or less severe, mitigate, ease. To assuage grief or wrath. To appease, satisfy. To assuage appetite, thirst, craving. Yes, he assuaged his need for anger by lashing out on unsuspected neighbors. Assume, to take for granted or without proof, suppose was a fact. Assume a principle in reasoning. Assume a principle in reasoning. Assume, to take for granted. He assumed that they would have salt at home, but they didn't, so he couldn't cook what he wanted to. Take upon oneself, undertake, to assume office and obligation. He assumed responsibility in the company for all the volunteering work. Take on or put on oneself, to assume new habits of life. To pretend to have or to be feign. Feign? What is feign? To assume a false humility. Feign. Let's check feign out. Feign. 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 To invent fictitiously or deceptively as a story or an excuse. Feign. Feign. To represent fictitiously, put on an appearance of a feigned sickness. To imitate deceptively, to feign another's voice. Feign. What a cool word. Feign. So many uses. Feign. 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 He. To pretend to have or be feign. To assume a false humility. Assume. Feign. Feign is similar. Feign. Assume. To lie deceptively, and assume to take up in some sort of pretense. To appropriate or arrogate, to assume a right to oneself. Appropriate. He assumed that he could do whatever he wants to, but then the repercussions came as a ton of bricks on his head. To be arrogant, make assumptuous claims. Presumptuous. To be arrogant, make presumptuous claims. Cool. He assumed the office of a judge without Actually, he claimed that he claimed he assumed office of judge, but there was no evidence for that. Assuming, arrogant, presuming. He's an assuming kind of prick. Assumption, the act of taking for granted or supposing. Assumption, the act of taking for granted. Assumption, taking for granted or supposing. Something taken for granted or supposition. Supposition, the act of taking to or up in oneself. Assumption, arrogance, presumption. Presumption and assumption are similar words. Okay, we'll think that. Presumption, assumption. He was assuming sort of guy. The act of taking to or up in oneself. Assurance, a positive declaration intended to give confidence. A positive declaration intended to give confidence. Assurance, pledge, guarantee, surety, full confidence or trust, freedom from doubt, certainty, freedom from timidity, self-reliance, courage, assurance, presumptuous boldness, impudence. Insurance, now usually restricted to life insurance. Assurance. Okay, so assurance. This impudence. Impudence. Characterized by shameless boldness, assurance, or effrontery. Impudence. Impudent. He came across so impudent. Impudent, shameless boldness. Impudence. Cool. Okay, assure, to declare earnestly, to inform or tell positively, to make someone sure or certain, convince as by a promise or declaration. To make a future event sure, ensure this assures the success of our work. To secure or confirm, render, safe or stable. To assure a person, position. To give confidence or to encourage. Ensure especially against death. Assure. Confidence, encourage. So he assured me that everything will be alright. Assured. Made sure, certain, assured. I felt assured about this investment. Bold, confident. He looked so assured. It came across ingenuous. Disgenuous. Boldly presumptuous. He's boldly presumptuous. Overly confident, boldly presumptuous, short person. Ashtanga yoga. A form of hatha yoga advocating exercises in breathing, posture and focus. Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga from ast, 8, with reference to 8 parts of the body which touch the ground in an elaborate obeisance. Obeisance. This obeisance. 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 Obeisance, a movement of the body expressing deep respect or deferential courtesies before a superior, a bow, or curtsy, deferring or homage, obedience, obeisance. Obeisance. Okay, so Ashtanga yoga is about obeisance. She touched the ground in an elaborate obeisance, so like submission. Oh, cool. Okay. Astatine, chemistry, a rare element of the halogen family. Astatine. Oh, never heard of that one. Atomic number 85. Cool. Unstable. Astatine. Aster, plant of the large genus Aster, family Compositae, having rays varying from white or pink to blue around a Yellow disc. Aster, a suffix used to form nouns denoting something that imperfectly resembles or merely apes the true thing or an inferior or petty instance of something. Poetaster, oleaster, 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 poetaster, poetestaster, poetester, oleaster, 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 oleaster. It's not even here. Oleaster, oleaster. It's not here. Oleaster, poetaster. But poetaster is probably someone who poet who